आला रे आला IPL आला
The next team is for me Kolkata Knight Riders, KKR. This time Morgan will get a full IPL as a captain. First of all, how did you react to last year's decision of dropping DK in the middle of the season and getting Morgan as the captain? Should they have done that initially itself when the season started, or was it the right move in the middle?
Yeah, I believe that this was genuinely at the behest of Dinesh Karthik, who wasn't finding himself in a sort of comfortable spot by not either the pressures of captaincy were getting to his batting, and he's still a very good T20 batsman. So maybe that was at his behest, so the franchise had no choice. And sometimes when you bring an overseas player, you even if he's an international captain like Eoin Morgan, you would still want an Indian captain, right? Because it allows you some flexibility with that overseas position. If your overseas player for some reason doesn't strike form, unless your guy is David Warner, who has never had a bad IPL and who will always play when he's fit. Barring that, I don't think any IPL team should actually make a captain the overseas player unless you're happy to move him around just like you would to any other player.
Yeah.
So I was fine with the decision to not announce Morgan as captain, but the minute Karthik had wanted to give it off, then you could see that Eoin Morgan was the natural choice midway through the season. It stuck with him because I think he's still a top class T20 player, but he's still to have a bigger impact in the IPL, as big an impact in the IPL. So as far as this team goes, I think their hopes are pinned again on their overseas players. Their first 11 is a very good 11, barring one area of concern, which is the Indian seamers.
Indian fast bowling, yeah.
Yeah, but they're still a very good team. And what I really want to see this year is two of their marquee West Indians stand up, Russell and Narine. They owe the franchise a little bit. I mean, even though Narayan's been Russell more than Narine, to be honest. Sunil Narine has won IPLs for this team. Andre Russell is a beast of a player. He had an underwhelming IPL last year. And the year before that, he was magnificent, right? In 2019, he was brilliant. The fact that they are coming back to pitches in India will suit Andre Russell. And I think he's got to be the bowler. He's got to be the player that they bank on. The guy who can bowl you 3 or 4 overs. The guy who can bat, high. Not a guy who is struggling with one injury concern or the other. He's had plenty of time to get into good shape, to work on that. So for me, they're relying a lot on Andre Russell. And from whatever little I'm hearing and seeing of him, I believe he's back to his best shape. So if we get to see the best of Russell again this year, that changes everything. Because Russell in 2019 effectively won KKR about 6 points on his own. So that's how big a player he is. And if he's not performing, if he's injured, I mean, their next best option is Ben Cutting, right? With no disrespect to Ben Cutting. But that is what they were struggling to fill last season. Either Narine was out of the team because of his issues with his action or with injury, or Russell was out of the team because of his injury. So you need KKR's gun overseas guys to fire, right? Pat Cummins will do his thing. He may not have a great IPL, but he will never disappoint you game after game, right? He'll be okay. He didn't pick up the wickets that they needed last year, but I do think that there's no moving Pat Cummins out of that first 11. So Cummins, Narine, Russell, are 3 absolute gold overseas players, and Eoin Morgan is the 4th as the captain. So you've got 4 marquee, solid overseas guys, and you should have them deliver. And
so no space for Shakib and Lockie Ferguson?
Yeah, it's impossible. How do you get them in? Who do you displace? Eoin Morgan's captain, Sunil Narine and Andre Russell always play. Pat Cummins, your big money signing, world-class fast bowler, can bat and bat well if needed.
I just feel that out of all these guys, Sunil Narayan's place is a bit vulnerable than the others because first of all, they've got a mystery spinner in Varun Chakravarti now, and what Sunil Narayan used to do at the top of the order, he failed last season. Teams have found out his weaknesses. So his spot could be in bother maybe because somebody like Shakib is sitting in the ranks.
Not at all. Simply because Sunil Narayan is still. You have Varun Chakravarti, but imagine if you have 2 of those guys bowling together. It's not like you're only picking one. And Narayan's bowling hasn't gotten any worse. The problem, in fact, he won them a couple of games last year against Punjab and against Chennai. He bowled in crucial sort of moments and won them a couple of games. Unfortunately, after that, the action issues came up. But even when Narayan has bowled with a remodeled action, he's been economical. Very rarely has Narine gone for 30, 40. He can still bowl you 4 overs for 20. So Narine, the bowler, walks into your T20 team eyes closed. Narine, the batsman, is always a lottery. It's fine. He may take off in a game or two. He may not. It doesn't matter.
So
And
do
what
you
they
still
did
open
last
with
year.
him? Do you still open with him?
That depends on whether I'm playing Rahul Tripathi in my team. If I'm playing Tripathi, I'm just going to open with Gill and Tripathi. Just open with the batsman. And they used Narine a bit flexibly last year. They sent him in 1 or 2 games, even just after the power play, when the spinners had just come on. And that's when, again, Narine was given the license, go smash it. So I actually think they don't need to do that. But I'm okay if they can keep Narine as an option in certain games. And if he gets out, he gets out. I mean, the thing with Narine was always, it didn't matter if he scored runs or not. That he scored runs was a bonus. So for me, it still remains a nothing to lose situation. It's okay if Narine has a swing and gets out. If he gets you 20 in 10, he's done his job. If he gets you 30 of 8, brilliant. Even if he gets you 6 of 2 and gets out, it's fine because you need to have Rahul Tripathi then walking in and playing like a batsman. So Dinesh Karthik at 3 was a bigger tactical error for me than, or rather Dinesh Karthik at 4. Nitish Rana comes in at 3. But DK at 4 was a bigger tactical error than Narine at the top because Eoin Morgan shouldn't be batting that low. So I think if they fix those tweaks out, Karthik is best when he comes in with at that 5-6 spot with minimal balls to have a big impact either in the first innings or see a side home in the second. So I don't think DK should be batting very high up. So it's still a very good team. If you just go through it, you've got Gill, Tripathi, Nitish Rana, Sunil Narine, Eoin Morgan, Dinesh Karthik, Andre Russell, right? And that batting order can be anything, anywhere. So those are your top 7. Then you've got Pat Cummins at 8, Varun Chakravarti 9. I'm just giving the number, not the batting order. And who have I missed?
Kuldeep is an interesting one.
Yeah, so Kuldeep is an interesting one. I think they have Varun Chakravarti will perhaps make them less inclined to play Kuldeep Yadav this year because they'll already have Narine, they'll have Varun, they'll have 8 overs of spin already, and Kuldeep hasn't inspired with a lot of confidence. I'm just having a quick look at where Kolkata play their games.
I think they play in Chennai initially.
Yeah, so they play the first 3 in Chennai. So Kuldeep may be a better option there. So all of a sudden Kuldeep Yadav ahead of an Indian seamer. And, probably Prasidh Krishna should get the nod given he's just been capped and whatnot. They also have the option of Harbhajan Singh, interestingly, but I don't see them potentially playing 3 off spinners. Varun can be considered an off spinner. So I think Harbhajan is more of a backup if the wickets really get bad or if Varun gets injured, and you don't want to play Kuldeep Yadav, Harbhajan can give you a little bit of control. But really good team again. They'll have to, between Kuldeep Yadav and Shivam Mavi and Kamlesh Nagarkoti, they'll be placed for 1. I think they should go for Prasidh Krishna, but even that position, you can bring in Mavi or Nagarkoti. So that's completely, I don't think there's a lot to choose between them.
So the only weakness you see is the Indian seamers. Inexperience.
Because someone has to bowl at the death. Unless Andre Russell can say, I'm going to be your guy at the death. I'm going to bowl 14, 16, 18 or 16, 18, 20. That kind of thing, which he's very capable of doing. He's a damn good bowler. But he needs to be able to give you 4 overs if the captain needs it and be able to have an impact with the bat. And I think that's expected out of a guy who largely only plays T20 cricket now. And he has to, that's what I said, the expectation out of Andre Russell has to be met this year, especially with the big auction coming up next year.
Yeah, so again, prediction time. Do you see them in the top 4 or the top 2?
They were a painful team to watch last year because I just could not get them tactically. They were getting giving me all these weird tactics of not bowling Narine to Shane Watson for about 15 overs, leaving him for the end. Dinesh Karthik batting so high. Just so many things that they did that were just painful, at times. But I still have a lot of faith in the first 11 of this team. If they all stay fit and if Russell can find some glimpse of the season that he had in 2019, I think they'll make the top 4. So I have them in my top 4.
Okay, and top 2 maybe?
I still think that Delhi and Mumbai are the 2 best teams in the IPL. So unfortunately, that would be I'd maintain that. If you go through the rest. Sunrisers Hyderabad is the other one that can always challenge. So for me, there'll be 2 out of CSK, KKR and SRH that will make the top 4. So so that's how I'd like to put it. Like it could be very little to choose between them. Delhi and Mumbai for me will still be the top 2 teams of this year's IPL.